this thing doesn't seem like it's taking off anytime soon.
Captain America's black?
Well,
Where have you
Hey,
been?
if
I'm
you
sorry,
haven't
is that
been paying
wrong?
attention.
He was always white when...
Yeah. No, before I get into this story, I'll open it up. Are any of you guys Marvel fans at all?
No.
Okay.
I used to
no.
be.
I
Why do
watched.
I feel racist right now? Why,
not-
everybody,
no.
the way you guys reacted like it was I'm just
No,
surprised
no,
that
no,
he's black. I had no
got it.
idea.
Rob, you're onto something. It's not canon.
Yeah,
Well-
you got
I feel weird.
you got
right
some
now.
catching up to
Yeah,
do.
but ready
because-
for this though? The
so-
fact that wait
yeah.
till you hear what he said. So it's he.
Yeah.
Let me all seal that in the argument. It's a fictional character. It's not based on race. And so when they make Ariel the mermaid black, then they're not doing anything because it's a mermaid, for goodness sake.
Yeah, Marvel, biggest franchise in the world, and somehow I'm in a room with 4 guys who don't know anything about what's happening with it. Okay, I guess I'm on my own on this one.
I do know, but I'm too embarrassed to admit.
Yeah, and I'm the same way.
'Cause I'm not
I
a
used to be a
nerd.
huge Marvel fan. I used to love the movies. I used to go out and see them all the time. And then they did Avengers Endgame, which was the last good one. And somehow they're about to do movie number 35. I found that out last night. 35 films in a franchise is unholy. No franchise should have that many installments. Nevertheless, if you're a Captain America fan passively, sort of like Rob here, you might be more familiar with this, which is the original Captain America movies. The first 3 starring Chris Evans
He's white,
as the
Rob.
iconic Captain America. Now, Chris Evans is a gigantic liberal cuck in real life, but at least he was fun as this character. It was enjoyable. But anyone who saw the movie Avengers Endgame knows at the end, Captain America passes his shield on to Falcon, who was a guy who showed up in some of his movies, who's a black guy played by Anthony Mackie, who is the new Captain America. So far, we've gotten The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a TV show on Disney+, which nobody really liked. And now we're about to get Captain America Brave New World with Anthony Mackie as the new Captain America.
So brave.
Yeah, funnily enough, Captain America Brave New World's original title was Captain America New World Order until they changed that during production. Maybe because they didn't like the association with this was the first time an Israeli superhero was showing up in Marvel, and they wanted to avoid that.
He's Israeli, the other guy?
Yeah. So
Freaking wild.
there's been a lot of controversy over Anthony Mackie's presentation of Captain America in the first place, but Falcon does become Captain America in the comics, and I'll get into that a little bit because I did a deep dive on some comic book history just because I found it kind of interesting. But to explain why we're even talking about this today, let's take a look at this press tour Anthony Mackie was doing in Rome a couple days ago, where he talked about what being Captain America means to him and why he wants to play this character.
For me, Captain America represents a lot of different things, and I don't think the term, America should be one of those representations. Like, it's about a man who keeps his word, who has honor, dignity, and integrity. Someone who is trustworthy and dependable. It's kind of, this is kind of like an aspect of a dream coming true. When I was a kid, all of us as actors, I believe, want to get back to that day before someone told you no. When you look out your door and you see a 5-year-old kid with a stick and he's slaying dragons to save the princess in the tower, that kid really believes there are dragons out there. That stick is really a sword and he's really trying to save that princess. And then one day somebody told him, no, there are no dragons, that's not a sword, and that princess is not there. And all of his little dreams were dashed. So, as an actor, I feel like our job is to get back to the day where we see that dragon and we slay that dragon to save that princess. And that's kind of what this movie was for me.
I've just got to highlight that. This guy's talking about playing a role in a stupid Marvel action movie like it's the most intellectual, deep philosophical venture of humankind. I don't care when you said Captain America, not so American. I was literally picturing someone from like Mongolia or China playing the lead. I couldn't care less about the race, religion, creed of the actor. I hate all these movies are so vapid to me, but I appreciate people like them. But this guy's talking about it like he's venturing into some intellectual, amazing quest, and he's That's press tours.
You're
about
Captain America, bro. The name America is in your freaking name, bro. You're Captain America, and to say that it doesn't stand for America, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Like, what the hell he's talking
All right,
about?
I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this, but
Get it.
That's the type of opinion you get from a guy that's wearing suits and sneakers. You know, like I'm sorry, I'm gonna catch a lot of heat. It's either suit and shoes, or anything else. But
I'm not, and you'll never. I want everybody to know this. You'll never catch me wearing a suit.
Me neither.
With those sneaker shoes. Like, who told you that you could do that?
Yeah.
Like, who the hell told you that you could? That's like wearing shorts and like
did?
tuxedo shoes.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? It doesn't match. And now that you said
Goofy.
that and I point out, we should have. I knew that from the beginning.
Yeah, from
as
the
soon
beginning.
as I
I
saw
saw
that,
that.
I'm like,
It's
I know
over.
that the next thing that comes out of his mouth is gonna be complete shit.
Yeah, and a while before that video came out, he further explained what playing Captain America now as a black man means to him. I just feel like it's important for black kids to see a black Captain America as it is for white kids. Growing up, one of my favorite superheroes was Green. It wasn't about race or anything. It was about him being a good guy trying to do the right thing. It's very important for kids of all races to be able to watch something and have someone to look up to, no matter what they look like, and see that the package comes with a good human being as opposed to what they've been perceived as by everyone else. A lot of word salad right there on the end.
Because can you go back to that for 1 second, Natalia? It's a conflicting statement in the first
Yeah.
paragraph. I feel like it's important for black kids to see a black Captain America. Next paragraph, growing up, one of my favorite superheroes was Green. It wasn't about a race or anything, but you made it about race, then said that it doesn't need to be about race.
And I don't know.
I'm sorry. The reason why the Hulk was green was because I had to double check. Was because of exposure to radiation. It was kind of integral to the character, and to say like. But this is, again, treating his job, not that there's anything wrong with being an actor, but attributing a degree of intellect to playing a Marvel superhero that is not warranted under the circumstances.
And like, I don't even disagree with the second half of what he said about, the 5-year-old with the stick. Like movies and actors, and we exist, these stories exist to, give people something to look up to, inspire creativity and imagination, and that's all well and good. The real problem, and I think that the one everyone disagrees with, is where he's like, Captain America stands for a lot of things, America's not one of them.
Like, what?
That's kind of a dumb take here. But he later in the day yesterday clarified what he meant by that, saying, "Let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking on the shield of a hero like Cap is the honor of a lifetime."
What's Cap?
Captain America.
What's the P?
No, that's like
Cap.
Cap.
Okay, fine,
Cap
sorry.
short for Captain. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served our country. Cap has universal characteristics that all people all over the world can relate to. Clearly, he got the call from Disney. He's like, could you stop doing
Honestly,
to...
send
Shut
him
your
that.
dumb ass
Could you
up.
stop doing
And
to
listen,
Captain
second
America?
rule, I don't read
Yeah.
anything written on Comic Sans.
Yes. Yes.
It's a wrap.
that
So
would
he's
make
got,
sense.
he's got
wrap.
white sneakers and wrong font. But he is
over.
right, by the way. The world looks up to Captain America because Captain America represents American greatness. It's not because Captain America represents, Russian vodka. Like, it is the quintessential American superhero that the rest of the world loves. And that's why the rest of the world does love America despite everything they say.
Of course. And that's where it gets into the deep dive I did into comic book history, just because I find this subject fascinating. People are going to say, this is the problem of making things political and politicizing art and entertainment. But the thing is, art is always political. Art that doesn't have something to say is worthless. If you see art that it has no meaning and has no statement, it's dumb. Most things that exist are political in some way. The problem is not politicizing things. The problem is politicizing them over dumb things like this. So I went back and looked at the history of Captain America, who actually is very unique because he is so American. He's always been an extremely political character. If we look back here at the creation of the character, Captain America's creation was an explicitly anti-Nazi figure, and it was a deliberately political undertaking. The creators were stridently opposed to actions of Nazi Germany and supporters of U.S. intervention in World War II. So the character was created at a time when American politics said, World War II is happening over in Europe, we're not involved. They used this character to try to push America to get involved in the conflict. Political messages have subsequently remained a defining feature of Captain America stories, with writers regularly using the character to comment on the state of American society and government. Something that made him unique is that his first villain was Adolf Hitler. He was not created to fight any other bad guys. The first Captain America comic books were him fighting Hitler. He would punch out Hitler on a regular basis. They even make reference to that in the first movie that Marvel did, where he's doing stage performances as like a propaganda thing, punching out Hitler. In 1969, they introduced the Falcon as the first African-American superhero in mainstream comic books who would become Captain America's partner. The series was titled as Captain America and the Falcon, beginning in February 1971, and it would maintain the next 7.5 years. That was actually the first biracial superhero duo ever presented in comic books. So there's always been this thing of Captain America stands for, American values, and they brought in the black guy in the 70s to be part. So like Falcon has always been a very close character with him.
Look at him
But here's his whipping Hitler.
Well, both not for nothing, both creators were Jewish.
Yes.
So I mean, it had a clear. Not that they would have any aversion to a black character because Hitler was bad on blacks as he was on Jews, but. There was a clear political purpose to the creation.
And this goes to my point that the character has always been very propagandistic, and the problem is not that he was used for that. The problem that now he's being used to push propaganda that's stupid.
Yeah.
For example, later on, many of Captain America's villains represent specific ideologies or political formations. The Serpent Society represents labor unionism, and Flag Smashers represent anti-nationalism. The character fought enemies associated with communism during his brief revival in the 1950s.
Like Red Skull.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Red Skull was a Nazi. Like they made that character to be like, once they couldn't have him punching Hitler anymore, they made a character that was tutored by Hitler. They didn't get into that in the movies, but
I thought he was a communist.
it kind of goes back and forth. But he also briefly fought global terrorism after 9/11. But by then they had tried to keep those real world politics out of superhero comics. And then in 2014, they released the first issue where Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon, became Captain America. This is the premise for the movies we're seeing right now. But if we skip ahead one real quick just to show what's next, I want to show some of these slides that show the reason that Anthony Mackie in his statement on Captain America might not be entirely incorrect. These things where if you can pause this if you're watching at home and see what the panels actually say, but it's basically Captain America saying the American flag is just a useless piece of cloth, and the country itself is trash if it doesn't support the liberties and freedoms of its people. So the idea that he's representing America isn't necessarily accurate because he's representing the ideals of America, and half the time he's fighting against the American government that's not living up to those ideals. One more slide, and this I think is actually the good use of this before I open it up to you guys again. Doesn't matter what the press says, doesn't matter what the politicians, the mob say, doesn't matter if the whole country decide. I can't do a Captain America voice. So I'm not gonna try.
Doesn't matter what the whole world says.
That's bad.
I don't know what he
Batman.
sounds like.
Doesn't matter if the whole country decides that something wrong is something right. This nation was founded on one principle above all else: the requirement that we stand up for what we believe, no matter the odds or the consequences. When the mob and the press and the whole world tells you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move. So this was always something to do with the core of the character, in that he stands for values. Same way Superman here used to stand for truth, justice, and the American way, before they decided, no, Superman must be globalist. Yep. So, like I said, the problem is not using the character to be political, but that they're doing stupid things with it.
I'll be a little sympathetic to Mackie. I mean, the guy's going around doing a press tour, and he's bound to say something silly. It's because he's trying to over-intellectualize what he's doing, which is playing a superhero in a stupid Marvel movie.
As every actor does.
Yeah, well, it's like
playing the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, who the two of them. So I mean, look, he said something stupid. Look, I've never been into it. I'm trying to think of like if they made Braveheart like a different race that would not be commensurate with the history of the story, I might have an issue. With these things, I couldn't care less, but I do appreciate people associate certain icons with it.
I have a less of a problem with the race thing and more just a less of the creativity thing. If you're going to change and make the Little Mermaid black, why not just create a new story, a new...
They're lazy.
Like, why does it have to be, oh, this is Ariel. I know you grew up with white Ariel with redhead, but you're a bigot and now enjoy black Ariel with whatever black Ariel is. I don't know. I never saw black. But why not just create a new franchise? Why just take something that was and then rebrand it with a different race?
Yeah, that's what they did. They did that with the Wakanda movie, Black Panther. They
made a White Panther?
No. They made the Black Panther was sort of like a new iteration of superhero
Yeah, perfect.
movies.
Good. Do more of those.
I'm trying to think, like, hypothetically, they make a reboot of Terminator 1, and it's Jackie Chan. How would I feel about that?
Yeah, it's so
I wouldn't care, but I don't watch the reboots anymore because they just whoever plays the role ruins the original. I didn't see Total Recall, the reboot. nor will I ever watch it because it's going to be a worthless crap of a movie.
Do you know who was supposed to be the original Terminator at one point? This is true.
I know the
Arnold?
answer. I forgot. No, Sylvester.
He was the Arnold.
Sylvester Stallone?
No. O.J. Simpson. And this is real.
Hold on.
They didn't, you could look this up. I believe it was James Cameron, didn't believe that O.J. Simpson would come off as relatable as a murderer. That was the reason why he didn't get thrown. I swear you could look that up on the internet. That is real. O.J. Simpson was supposed to be the first Terminator.
The fact that you said Jackie Chan as a Terminator, I just picture, like, how unintimidating is it? Just, I'll be a back.
I only say because I just watched
I
just watched a Jackie Chan movie the other day, and like
What one?
it was
Tuxedo with
no,
Jennifer
back in
Love
the day,
Hewitt.
not Rumble. Rumble in the Bronx, was that the one?
something.
I don't know.
it was
I
an
saw
old- it was an old
Tuxedo
school
with
Jackie
Jennifer
Chan
Love
movie.
Hewitt. She was hot.
Yeah,
OJ. I gotta fact check that because that's hilarious.
but this is like when they do this with Disney. Disney's the worst culprit. Netflix does it all the time too. Of take someone who's historically a white character and turn them brown, turn them gay. You remember the whole South Park thing? Put a chick in it, make it lame, make her gay. Just because we could all use a good laugh, I think, to round out this segment. I went through and pulled some of the most woke, idiotic stuff Marvel has done through Disney recently. This was a thing they did in a Captain America spinoff where they made Captain America a gay homeless kid. The whole character was written and drawn by a transgender guy, so of course. Up next, the best one that they ever did. These two characters, their first non-binary superhero duo named Snowflake and Safe Space.
Shut the front door. This was not real.
This 100% verified.
These are the two I saw
these
those
are-
in the Jaguar ad, didn't I?
Probably either that or the Olympics opening ceremony. But
Are they men or women? Is that wrong?
they're
to ask?
non-binary, Rob.
No, like, you can't. There's this androgynous.
So super person.
The bulge is small enough to be a potential
The
penis,
one on the
but
left
big enough
has
to
a
be
nice
Okay, you're
body.
right. The
The one on the
pink has
left
a
has
bulge.
female hips, I guess. Yeah, the one on the left is
Like
a girl.
Humberto, big, wide hips.
Birthing hips.
Birthing.
If I'm going based on those images, I say both of them are men.
No, the one on the left is a girl for sure.
Little hard to tell, but I think that's kind of the point, isn't it?
All right, Connor, thank you for exposing me. I have no trouble with his race or anything, and I don't have any problems that Marvel, because they own the franchise, if they want to go that route. I hate the way they did it. I think, Captain America, main part of the character is that he's super powerful, resistant, and he was injected with super serum, all right? It's a special thing that they did in the military that makes him super, like fast and strong and whatever. So if they put Falcon through that to make him Captain America, I'd be okay with it.
Of course, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
That's the whole problem.
So there's no merit.
Well, Captain America can throw his shield hard enough to embed it in a brick wall because he is all roided up. Falcon, now Captain America, can do it because he's a black guy, and don't you dare tell a black guy he can't do something. But that's why this kind of politicization of these things that we love in media, everything gets worse because the politics are stupid, not because there should never be politics involved in these things.
It's that it's so in your face and deliberate. Like back in the day when you had Raw Deal, was it Raw Deal with Arnold Schwarzenegger? And the famous back in the day when you had Die Hard. It was the most ethnically diverse group of terrorists you've ever seen in your life. They had a black guy, they had the Germans, they had the Russians. Somehow they're all working together. And nobody said anything because it wasn't in your face politically, so that it looked organic in a movie. Now it's just all politicized. Is Deadpool Marvel?
Yes.
Yes.
That's the only one I've ever watched that I actually liked. But then I didn't like the one where they get the other characters and they're turned into like a total idiot fest.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Everything woke eventually
Goes to
turns
shit.
to garbage. Exactly. So if you have never watched the Marvel franchise before now, and you felt inspired to start on the 35th movie, maybe give this one a pass. I don't think I'll be watching it.
I'm not watching
How about
it at
you
all.
guys?
If Captain America's anti-America, not going to watch it. Period. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.